Hey everyone, it's Katie from Bobby Hair Studio, and today I'm going to show you how I did a 9-hour color correction that got this client from this hair color to this hair color in one day. Keep in mind, some of my clips are going to be low quality because they're taken from my TikTok live, but let's get started. My client has Hispanic hair with 3 inches of natural black root, and the rest of her hair has 2 sessions of professional black dye in there, with the last 4 to 5 inches of her hair having old platinum bleach in there. In our previous consultation, we discussed this being the color that she wanted to go to, but hopefully lighter if possible, just so you know. This is going to be a very messy process, so I'm using my Framar back bib and I'm putting it on my client over top of the cape to go over the back of the chair to protect the chair, the cape, and her neck. This process took a really long time, so I am speeding up everything to about 4 times the speed, but here you can see that I am starting by painting on the root and then down through the midshaft to the ends of every single tiny slice of hair. And I'm applying a piece of foil just to sit below to insulate and hold, but I am not foiling the hair by putting every piece in foils that are tucked in and tightened. I'm actually doing 3 slices, and for every 3 slices, I'm going to be closing it up with another foil on top, but I'm not folding them in because I want the bleach to have the opportunity to swell and get out of the way if it needs to. My apprentice will be doing the other side while I do this side. Things to keep in mind: saturation is key, always use thin sections. Formulate with your porosity and underlying pigment in mind. Because she's Hispanic, she has a lot of yellow colors in her hair rather than orange and red. And I know that because we've done a test strand on her and her hair lifted very quickly in the 20-minute test strand, and it lifted to a very yellow tone, which is actually what we want for this service. In the bowl, I have 20 volume and Blonde Me bleach. And I don't have any cool additive or anything mixed in there. I just wanted to get a raw lift to see how light I could get it in the first bleaching. Now I know that root is going to lift up beautifully and I won't need to bleach that again. It'll more so be the black dye that's underneath.
Well, it's very pale yellow, but it looks white right now because of all the bleach that's on it. But yeah, it's a nice pale yellow. Looking good. I might only need to do a 7 volume on here, or a wet balayage, or I could even use the clay bleach. I want to know if he's going to hang on though, right? Because it's the staining, it's like still the same amount of lift has happened, there's just a stain on the outside.
So now we are scraping away the bleach and taking out the foils from any of the areas that are finished processing for the first bleach. And we are letting the rest of the hair stay insulated and catch up. Here is what it looks like so far. Looks pretty crazy, but this is for sure a trust the process.
It's looking pretty good. So you guys can see where her virgin is here, and then where the old color is here. It's a pretty good lift on the root, but that root could still use a little longer, because we want it to look like this side, where it's more whitish. So that's one of the things that can happen pretty easily for newer stylists to this, is you can accidentally rinse off your bleach too early, and that's what you don't want to do. So you see how I flipped over what was over here? It used to be over there. I flipped it over so that up in the root area, she can get a little bit warmer and process a little bit better.
Now all the ends are done the foils. They're all looking very even with the stuff that's done in the back, so I'm just leaving on the top.
Okay, you guys want to know what breakage looks like? Okay, I'm gonna tilt this a little bit. I want to see her ends. Okay, my phone is hot. Here is her old bleach. Give it a little pull and see how it's suddenly stretching like that, and it came off. That's all her old platinum. 3.5 inches length right there. So yeah, that's your old platinum in there, and the rest looks like it's all the black, because it's stopping that right around here. So I think we'll give you your trim before we do your second bleach to get rid of any of that old bleach under there. But the rest of her, feels really good. So guys, this is something we had discussed beforehand. This much of her hair in the very ends used to be platinum blonde. And then she went black twice. So in all of this length, except for the very ends, this here, I'm gonna minimize this so you can see a little better. So from here to here, never been bleached before, so it's doing totally fine. And we discussed this during our consult. This right here, not feeling great because it's used to have bleach in it. So this is its second or third time being bleached for this stuff right here. So it's gonna come off. So that's what we're gonna cut. The rest, all that feels great. Just so everybody understands what's going off here.
Now here is just a clip that you can see how big a difference virgin hair versus permanent black dye costs. When I rinse it off, you're gonna see how yellow the hair really is versus the ends looking super, super orange. Now just to be clear, this is not what Hot Roots is. Hot Roots is when the first inch of the hair looks very bright and vivid, but this is the first 3 to 4 inches. Now we're cutting off the ends, the damaged dry ends, and we're going to give her a new fresh U-shaped, V-shaped cut with layers. Now we're gonna test strand for our second bleach out.
Okay. So right here, I have 7 volume. I have a mix of Blonde Me and a mix of the Blonde Me Clay. It's like equal parts almost of the two, maybe a little bit less of the clay. And then right here, I have 20 volume, and it's mixed with Blonde Me and clay.
I'm only putting the bleach on the areas that are orange because I don't need to lift the blonde areas any further. They're already a level 10, they're looking beautiful. So we just want to lift where the black dye is. And that will be quite a process on the hair. So we're definitely not going to be bleaching her hair again. I've already told her about this, but just so you guys know, the next step is not to bleach again. The next step is to grow this out and cut it off.
What we're doing here is this is 7 volume, and this is 20, and they're both mixed equal parts with Blonde Me, which is a 9 level lift, and the Blonde Me Clay, which is a more gentle lift, because I'm trying to see what happens. However, if both of these suddenly just like snap off, then we're gonna have some chatting to do. We find out what color we can go in between, or if you're willing to cut off a little bit more hair and go with a lighter color, because these ends are darker than like these mids. So overall, I think that it'll be totally fine to do these foils. But this is why we check, because worst case scenario, had I just done your foiling and your hair didn't want to handle it, from here, that's how long your hair would be, from here to here. I mean, you'd rock a pixie, but let's not do a pixie today if we can help it. This is the 7.
But the 20 lifted better?
From what I see, the 20 looks like it did lift better, but lifting better isn't always the best plan because we want to keep your hair healthier. So that's why we did try both options. Hair feels okay. Only a tiny bit of give in that. There's really not much. So it means that her hair can handle a 7. If her hair can also handle the 20 really well, then we'll probably just do the 20 because it looks like the 20 lifted better. But I'm going to dry this little guy. Okay, so we are getting a little bit of unhappy hair with this side.
Probably wouldn't use just the 20.
Yeah, you can see how those ends don't look really good anymore, and they looked good before. And that could just be because there's maybe still a little bit of that old blonde in the ends, but let's test. Only see how it's doing a little bit of stretching, not a ton. It's bouncy. So do you see a difference between these two colors right here? So the 7 was more gentle, and it didn't get as much of a lift, but there's really not much of a difference once it dries up. So here are your 2 re-bleach pieces. You see how there's a slight difference between the root and the end still?
Yeah.
it did lighten them up. The ends are still, you know, like not our best color. But it did help to kind of blend between the two colors. So, in my opinion, I wouldn't want to go with the 20 just because of the damage that it causes. The thing is, about bleaching your hair again, there is the potential of some breakage in there. Are you wanting me to do kind of a darker blonde, lighter brown color today, or do you want us to pursue and go for the lighter blonde color? You should pursue? Okay.
I'm okay with you.
Okay. If we need to do a little bit more just to kind of get rid of this kind of brassy end, because the color from here to here is nice. It's just those kind of orangey ends. So if we really need to, if it super bothers you when we're done, then we can play around with that. Or what we can do is tone to match to this. So that means all this has to go darker.
Yeah.
I don't usually find that's worth it because you're taking it all to be really light and then you're just darkening it back down.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'd rather get rid of the last few months of growth so that I don't have to lighten this again later or like wait for it to fade out to get like to the blonde I wanted. That's just my opinion. But if you want to pursue on and we will go lighter, then we will do that.
You can take a lump.
Why would I take a lump for
Right. In here I mix some cool additive as well because she's got a lot of orange in her hair.
My assistant Katie is going to just be watching me apply the foils here because I'm trying to apply to just the areas that are orange enough and not the areas that are lifted to a beautiful platinum blonde. I'm using my Framar Big Pop of foils because I want to get the back done in one big section and get the sides done really fast. This is going to give me great insulation. These are great foils for doing large sections all at once. But I wouldn't use them if I was trying to do the back section all at once really high up to the root because I'm not going to get to the root near the ears, just near the center of the back of the head. So this is great for this kind of process or for any kind of balayage actually. Doing too in each of these sections is I'm trying to give it really, really good saturation using the Cool Additive Mix Bleach, and I am feathering up into the area where it's slightly more orangey, not quite as dark as the ends though. This is honestly one of the most satisfying looking things. Look at that. Also, the funniest thing happened on our live. Some of our followers decided to send us food to the salon, so here's the pizza guy bringing us in free pizza from our followers. Thank you so much, Miranda.
Did she get us? Pizza. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. You guys.
So we all had a snack and now it's time to rinse out my client's ends. And what you're gonna see in the sink is that her hair looks a lot lighter and cooler than it really is, but that is the Cool Additive and the lightener on the hair. She will still have a decent amount of orange in her hair, but I find that the Cool Additive really helps to kind of tone it as it's being lightened. Now I'm going to shampoo her with some purple shampoo from Fanola. This is going to help deal with a little bit of that brass and to clean out any of the bleach residue in her hair before I decide to tone her. I'm about to have my formulation written up here next, so remember to pause if you're looking for a formula to balance out orange and yellow zones in the hair. Now this formula is going to help even out my canvas and help to cool down warm spots and warm up cool spots as much as possible in one toner. However, we may need to do a second one, but I'm gonna give her the option of starting with the lightest possible version first and then seeing if she wants me to darken it down. My client did tell me earlier she'd prefer to be the lighter color and to trim away at the brassy ends over time rather than to darken down the top of her hair just to match the ends that she doesn't love anyways. So here we are blow drying hair, And here is the final result. To me, this looks pretty good for a 9-hour service going from black to blonde in one day. There is a little bit of that inconsistency in the color in the ends versus the top, but overall, I think it was a fantastic lift. Her hair is really healthy. She just needs to get a moisturizing mask from time to time because it is super blonde. We gave her some beachy waves, and I'm going to show you what this looks like in a little bit of natural and direct light. And here it is in natural direct lighting. You can see the difference between the two colors a little bit stronger here, which, I mean, that's going to be the case in different lightings. You're going to see different colors in the hair. And now we're going to go back into the salon, and there is the photo shoot shot. There it is. She's looking like a beautiful honey blonde to me, and I'm really happy with this, and I'm really proud of myself for doing this in one day. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you.